we've got our pinch pots to a sort of finished stage. Now, if you're making these with kids, you can leave it at that and decorate straight away. The only thing I would say is leave them 4 or 5 days before you start to decorate, especially if you're using paint to decorate. However, if you're doing them as something for yourself as an adult, you can take them a little bit further and actually improve the finish. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flatten off the base, because with the best will in the world, you're not going to get it perfectly flat. I mean, it stands quite nicely. It's very secure, but you can get it a little bit better. And basically what you're going to do is get a piece of sandpaper. Now you need to be careful when you're doing the base. Get hold of it either side, put your finger in the centre, and get 2 fingers fairly low down, and then just start a rotating motion, but try and concentrate on keeping it flat, and you want to be rotating it at about the same sort of diameter as the overall size of the pot. And you can move it around on the sandpaper as well. Saves one area of sandpaper getting covered really quickly, which it will do. So you're going to do that until you're happy that it's standing quite solid. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to turn it over and do the same thing, but with the rim. Now this is where you'll start to see how well you actually made it, well, how evenly you shaped it in the first place. Right, so again, just rotating. And it doesn't actually take long. So straight away you'll start to see this lip flatten off, and you can, if you feel, you'll feel where all the thick bits are and where you haven't actually pulled it up quite evenly. But again, this is our first attempt, so don't worry too much about that. Like for instance with this one, when I start sanding down, I don't know where you can actually see, but the top edge isn't level. There's a low piece there, there's a low piece there, and a very low piece there. Now the problem with these is, or the problem with this is, yes, you could sand it down to that level, but it's going to take quite a while. And the problem is that as you get down to this, these bits are going to get thicker, probably. So it'll just end up looking worse. I wouldn't worry too much about that sort of thing at this point, but something to bear in mind as you move forward and make other pots. But it's one of those things. You might be looking for that rustic feel. Some people do, especially if it's just going to be used as a vehicle for decoration and things like that. And if it's just going to be one of those things that's just going to sit on a shelf somewhere, nice and quiet by itself, with odds and sods, a little bit of pottery or something like that in it, for which these are ideal, by the way. But we'll come on to that later on. So we're just rotating and sanding down, and then when you get to the point where you think, well, okay, there's no point going any further, leave it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get a carrier bag. Now this is quite important. Up there. Get a carrier bag. Or you could do this outside. If you're looking to have a space outside, you can do this. I know there's a piece of sandpaper here somewhere. I can find it. There it is. Right, so you want to tear off a piece of sandpaper. And basically all you're going to do is around the foot, you're just going to tidy it up. You don't have to do a great deal, but you will find that as you were modelling it, as you were pushing it into shape, you'll get little lips, especially around this area here. For instance there, it sticks out a little bit. So you could just even it up, sand it down. Again, you don't have to go too far. It depends what kind of finish you want. The only thing about sanding air drying clay, or any round surface, is you must keep the pot moving and the sandpaper moving, and try and position your fingers so that it's curved, so you're not sanding on the flat, because it will pick up, you'll make flat spots really easily. Now when you're happy with that, start on the body, and you literally just keep your hand moving all the time, and just rotate as you go. Now you'll notice a difference straight away. I mean that there, put that down. I mean that doesn't feel too bad, but you can feel where your fingerprints have been imprinted into the surface. Now if you like that feel, if you like that rustic, fingerprinty type thing, fine, leave it. If you want it a little bit smoother because you want to do some nice decoration of it, sand it down. It doesn't take long. And straight away there, you can feel the difference. So there we go. So sanding down until you're happy with it. Just keep going until you're pleased with the result that can be either super smooth, super even, or rustic and charming. Now,